Walk through almost any elementary school at 3:15, and you will see backpacks stuffed with worksheet packets, reading logs, and math drills. By 7 p.m., that paperwork reliably produces exhausted kids and frustrated parents. Most of that packet is compliance theater. It asks a student to recover material they already did in class. The format exists to prove the effort happened, rather than to build a skill that wasn't there before. We tolerate the friction because of a deep assumption. Parents and schools alike tend to equate a high volume of paper with academic rigor and discipline. Enter Duke University researcher Harris Cooper. He has tracked decades of studies on how homework impacts achievement. For high schoolers, the data shows that extra hours at the desk yield a modest bump in academic performance. But look at the younger grades, and the story changes completely. This chart shows the correlation between homework volume and academic achievement across different age groups. High school and middle school go up slightly. What for elementary students, that line is perfectly flat, zero correlation. All those evening hours spent tracing letters and filling out redundant math sheets simply do not translate into better test scores or deeper understanding. They do, however, guarantee tears, family friction, and a nightly tug-of-war at the kitchen table. It teaches young children that learning is a chore to endure before bedtime. We have built a draining routine around an illusion. Piling on worksheets drains families emotionally while offering absolutely zero academic return. The solution starts by shifting our focus from the tired family on Tuesday night to the teacher planning the week on Sunday. It takes about 15 minutes. Before any paper goes home, every assignment must pass a strict 2-question filter. Question 1. Does this ask the student to actively recall a past concept from memory or apply a skill to a new situation? If it asks them to mindlessly copy or repeat the exact steps they already completed in class, it fails. Question 2. Can the child actually do this independently? Homework should confirm a skill is already there. If a parent has to sit down and teach the lesson from scratch, the assignment fails. It is an absolute rule. If a worksheet gets a no on either of those 2 questions, it goes directly in the recycling bin. Let's test this on a typical week of 3rd grade math. Take these 4 pages of repeated multiplication problems. The student already did this in class. It is high volume, low value. It fails question 1, receiving an instant red X. Now look at this small index card. It has just 3 carefully selected word problems. The student has to think about which math rules apply to a new situation, and it is short enough to do independently. It passes. The work that survives the audit shares 3 distinct traits: retrieval over repetition, application over copying, and independence over parent reteaching. Pulling a few concepts from several weeks ago and mixing them together forces the brain to work hard to remember. Cognitive scientists call this spaced retrieval, and it is incredibly effective for locking in long-term memory. You can cut 80% of the sheer volume of paper a child brings home and keep nearly all of the actual learning value. The single sheet that survives was doing the heavy lifting the whole time. Of course, if a parent sees an 80% drop in worksheets, they might panic. They assume less paper means the school expects less from their child. The fix is to communicate the reasons before the change happens. Send a short, clear note home explaining that the focus is shifting to smarter, targeted practice. Name the Harris Cooper research directly. When parents see hard data showing that volume yields 0 achievement in young kids, they have a concrete reason to support the shift. Timing matters. Teachers have a narrow window in August or September to run this audit. Wait until October, and the heavy packet becomes an unquestioned tradition. This weeknight calendar reveals the true cost of bad homework habits. Heavy red blocks consume the exact evening hours a family needs. Eliminate the busy work, and the evening opens up. The blocks vanish, clearing space for what actually matters. You reclaim that time for kids to play outside, for parents to talk over dinner, and for the kind of patient, quiet family life that a packed schedule usually destroys. Imagine an evening where a family can actually sit around the kitchen table to eat, instead of fighting through a stack of useless paper. Measuring an education by a child's exhaustion is a mistake. Real academic rigor means assigning brief, highly effective practice, leaving families time to actually live.